Welcome back. I keep rushing to try to get under the wire for these problems, but let me explain it properly. So what we did is we said that a new student joins and the average after he joins is equal to the median. And what we did is we figured out, well, what's the average and the median before the student joins? Well, the average before the student joined was 13 over 12, and the median before the student joined was 1. If the new student has 1 or 0, and what we established, the only way to bring this average down is for the new student to have, less than the average number of siblings, right? That's the only way we can go from 1 and 1/12 to 1. And I'll tell you right now that he's actually going to have a 1/13th impact, right? If he's 1 away. So it actually, I can tell you right now he has one sibling, but I'll show it to you mathematically if you don't have that intuition on averages. But the important thing to realize is that he's either going to have 0 or 1 sibling, or he's going to have to have less than 1 and 1/12 siblings. So it's either 0 or 1 in order to bring the average down. And regardless of whether he has 0 or 1 sibling, the median won't change. I mean, if he has 1 sibling, then we're just going to have another 1 here, and then this will become the median. If he has 0 siblings, then that's going to be a 0 there, but that's still going to be a median of 1. So the median is not going to change. So what we have to do is we have to figure out how many siblings does he have to have for the new average to be exactly 1. So we can go back to this calculation. Let's take the average, but now let's take it with him. So this was our previous average where we said, well, there's 3 students with 0 siblings, 6 students with 1, etc., etc. But now we're going to add this new student in. There's 1 student with X siblings, right? And then instead of 12 in the denominator, we now have 13, because we now have 13 students, right? So what happens? You essentially have 13, so this becomes X plus 6 plus 4 plus 3. This becomes 13 plus X, and then the denominator is equal to 13. And actually, I was wrong before. He's actually going to have zeros, dude. So my intuition was a little bit off. Because look, this is the new average. 13 plus x over 13. The new average is going to be 13 plus x over 13. Right? 13 plus x over 13. And what does that new average have to equal? It has to equal 1. Because that's the new median. Or the old median, because we said the median doesn't change. So how can 13 plus x over 13 equal to 1? Well, if you can't eyeball that, because you could just say 13 plus x, multiply both sides by 13, is equal to 13. And then subtract subtract 13 from both sides, and you get x is equal to 0. So that new student has 0 siblings. I know that was a little bit convoluted, so let me just tell you what I did again. I said, what is the current median? And I just listed out all of the number of siblings, and I took the middle number, and that was 1. Then I said, well, what is the current average? And the current average was 1 and 1/12. And this might confuse a little bit. You could just say, well, this is the same thing as 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and so forth. Instead, I said that's 3 students with 0, 6 students with 1 sibling, 2 students with 2 siblings, and so forth. And I figured out that the current average, and I divided by 12, was 1 into 1/12. So I said, well, no matter how many siblings the next student has, and actually it didn't even matter, even if he had more or less, one of the middle numbers still would have been the 1. So the median will not change regardless of where the new student falls into the mix. So we said, how many siblings does that student need to have for the average to come down back to 1? And then I just added x to my previous average, and I divided by 13 instead, because I now have an extra student. This was a 13 too. And we got this equation, 13 plus x over 13 has to equal my new average, which is 1. And then I solved for x, which is 0. So the new student had 0 siblings. Next problem. And the really fast way of doing this, not to harp on this problem too much, is and I should have done this from the beginning, is to figure out that the median is 1. Then figure out that it doesn't matter how many siblings the student has, the median is still going to be 1. You can insert a number anywhere in this list, and the median would have still been 1 because there's just so many students with 1 sibling. And then you just have to figure out, well, how many siblings does this student have to have for the average to become 1? That's probably the most convoluted explanation I've given, but let me just hope it helps you. Okay, problem number 9. If 2 times x minus 3 is equal to 8, what does x minus 3 over x plus 3 equal? What does that equal? Well, a couple of things. Let's see. Let's just solve for x. So we get x minus 3 is equal to, I'm just going to divide the numerator and the denominator. I'm just going to divide both sides by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, right? 2 divided by 2 is 1. So x minus 3 is equal to 4. X is equal to 7. So you go here. What's x minus 3? Well, that's 7 minus 3, which is 4. We also figured out that x minus 3 was 4 up here. And then what's x plus 3? That's 7 plus 3, so that's 10. 4/10, we can reduce that to 2/5, dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2. So that's our answer, 2/5, or 0.4. Problem 10. When twice a number, so whenever I just start writing it. Let's say x is a number. So when they say when twice a number, so when 2 times x, that's twice a number, is decreased by 3. So twice a number is decreased by 3. That's twice a number is decreased by 3. The result is 253. So the result, equal sign, is 253. What is a number? Well, while reading it, I set it up, so now we just have to solve. So we add 3 to both sides. 2x is equal to 256. Right? I added 3 to both sides. X, divide 2, both sides by 2. X is equal to 128. And we are done. Next problem. Problem 10. Okay, this says Outdoor Sneaker Company's July production. So we have white, black, and then total. And then they have high tops, low tops, and then total. And I don't know if people even wear high tops anymore. I used to. I guess for basketball. Okay, high tops, low tops, and then total. I'm very not plugged in. High tops, low tops, and then total. And what numbers do they have in the box? In the box. So they're 3,600 here, 3,600, 1,500 here, 5,500, and then 10,000. So I can even before reading this question, I can tell you they're just going to want us to fill in this diagram. 10,000 here. Outdoor Sneaker Company manufactures only white sneakers and black sneakers, both of which are available as either high tops or low tops. On the basis of the information in the table above, how many black sneakers did Outdoor Sneaker Company manufacture in July? So how many black sneakers? So they didn't differentiate with high tops or low tops. So they want to know how many total black sneakers. So that is black total. So we need to figure out this square. Total black. So let's see what we can figure out. I'll do my figuring out in this magenta. So if low tops, I need a total of 5,500 low tops. 1,500 are black. How many are white? Well, it's going to be 4,000. Right? I just took 5,500 minus 1,500, 4,000. Similarly, if I made a total of 10,000 sneakers and 5,500 of are low tops, how many of them are high tops? Well, this is going to be 10,000 minus 5,500. So this is 4,500. And then out of the high tops, if 3,600 are white and I made a total of 4,500, how many black are there? Well, 4,500 total minus the white ones. That's what? That's 900. And so if we want to figure out the total black, we now know how many high top blacks there are and how many low top black sneakers there are. So we just add. So 900 plus 1,500 is 2,400. So I actually wasted both of our times figuring this out. So I could have saved a few seconds if I didn't do that, but I was just mindlessly chugging along. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.